Let's start with the truth. Chasing someone is never a sign of power. When you chase, you give away your energy, your time, and your emotional resources. You place the power in someone else's hands. Imagine for a moment that you're on a journey, but instead of leading the way, you're constantly running behind, trying to catch up. Does that sound empowering? Does that sound like the life you want to live? Absolutely not. You have something so valuable inside you, your worth, and it's time to start owning it. Stop chasing him and let him see the force that is you. When you stop chasing, you create a shift that's more than just about not pursuing him. It's about a powerful realization. You are enough. You don't need to prove it, and you certainly don't need to chase after someone to validate it. This is where most people get stuck. They fall into the trap of believing they have to chase to be loved, to be seen, to be valued. But value isn't something that can be earned by constantly giving, constantly chasing, constantly putting others before yourself. No, true value is about standing in your own power and never having to chase anything again. Now, here's what happens when you stop chasing. You immediately take back control. The dynamic changes. Instead of constantly reaching out, texting first, or doing whatever you think you need to do to keep his attention, you begin to shift your focus inward. Your energy, your attention, your emotional strength are no longer scattered, desperately trying to gain approval. They are now focused on your own growth, your own goals, and your own self-respect. Here's the thing, when you stop chasing, you don't just stop chasing him, you stop chasing after validation in all forms. You stop letting your self-worth be dependent on someone else's behavior. And that's when you become magnetic. Why? Because when you stop needing someone's approval, you give off an energy that says, I am already whole. I am already valuable. I don't need to chase anyone or anything to feel complete. This, my friend, is when you become unstoppable. This is when the real power kicks in. This shift doesn't just change how he sees you, it changes how you see yourself. You begin to recognize that you don't have to beg, plead, or fight for attention. You realize that the right person will value you, not because you chased after them, but because they saw your strength and independence. When you stop chasing, you stop showing your vulnerability in ways that drain you. Instead, you take a step back and let him see that your worth is not for sale, it's not for negotiation, you're not some prize to be won, you're already a prize. Let me tell you something powerful. People only value what they have to work for. When you chase, you make it easy. You give him the power to decide whether he wants to engage with you or not. But when you stop chasing, you put the ball in his court. You give him the space to come to you. And the funny thing is, when he sees you've stopped chasing, that's when his curiosity and desire for you intensify. He begins to wonder, what's different about her? Why isn't she coming after me anymore? What does she have that I don't? But here's the catch. It's not about playing games. It's not about being cold or distant. It's about having a clear understanding of your value. It's about showing him that you are enough. Just as you are. You don't need anyone to fill you up or to tell you you're worthy. You've already decided that for yourself. And that decision is what makes you irresistibly magnetic. What's more powerful than that? The moment you take your focus off him and put it on your own growth and desires, you start to radiate something far more important than attention. You radiate respect. And that's the thing he truly wants. Respect is earned, and it's earned when you stop chasing, stop seeking validation, and start creating the life that you deserve. You start living for you, not for anyone else's approval. And in doing so, you begin to pull him and the right people closer to you. But this is about you taking the first step toward your own empowerment. And this isn't just about relationships. This principle applies to every area of your life. When you stop chasing external validation and start focusing on your own growth, you begin to attract people and opportunities that are aligned with your true value. You stop settling for less than you deserve, and you begin to create the kind of life that you've always dreamed of. You don't chase success, you create it. So when he thought you'd chase him, you did something far more powerful. You stopped chasing, you stopped the cycle, and instead of losing yourself in the process, you found yourself stronger, more confident, and more aligned with the life you deserve. You've just become the kind of person who doesn't need to chase after anything because you've already decided that your worth is non-negotiable. And that, my friend, is when you unlock your greatest power. Respect is one of those things that can never be forced, but it is something that once earned holds immense power. It's easy to think that if we push hard enough, do enough, or constantly try to prove ourselves, we'll gain the respect we seek. But in reality, respect isn't something you demand, it's something you earn. It's earned through actions, consistency, and the ability to stand firm in who you are. Let's dive into why respect is earned, not demanded, and how you can begin to create a life where respect naturally flows towards you. Think about the last time someone respected you. Was it because you begged for it? Was it because you were constantly trying to gain their approval? No. The respect came because you stood in your power. You showed who you truly are, and others couldn't help but acknowledge it. That's the key. When you try to force respect, you often find yourself sacrificing your true self just to get someone to acknowledge you. But what happens when you stop chasing that approval? When you stop seeking respect and start demonstrating your worth? That's when true respect begins to emerge. When respect is demanded, it feels artificial. It feels like you're trying to convince others that you matter. And what happens when you have to convince someone? You give away your power. You become dependent on their validation, and in turn, you give up control of your own narrative. The truth is, when you have to demand respect, it's often because you're not showing the world your own self-respect. Self-respect is the foundation for all other forms of respect. Without it, no matter how hard you try to gain the respect of others, it will always feel like a struggle. Respect doesn't come from constantly seeking approval or worrying about what others think of you. It comes from living in alignment with your values, boundaries, and beliefs. The moment you start living authentically, you stop needing the validation of others to feel worthy. And when you no longer need to convince others of your worth, that's when the real respect flows toward you. This doesn't mean you should expect people to always treat you with respect. Unfortunately, not everyone will see your worth right away. But the difference is when you respect yourself and stand in your truth, you stop tolerating disrespect. You set boundaries that protect your energy and only allow those who truly value you to remain in your life. When you stop begging for respect, you automatically raise your standards and stop accepting less than what you deserve. What happens when you stand firm in your own self-respect is that others begin to take notice. People will start respecting you not because you demand it, but because they see your integrity, your confidence, and your unwavering belief in your own value. And that is powerful. When people respect you, it's not because you begged for it, it's because they feel it. Your strength, your authenticity, your self-worth, these are the qualities that attract respect from others. The most powerful way to earn respect is to lead by example. This means not just talking about your values and boundaries, but living them. It means showing up consistently as your best self, regardless of whether anyone is watching. When you live with integrity and authenticity, others can't help but respect you. It's not about seeking it out. It's about living in such a way that respect is naturally drawn toward you. It's important to remember that respect isn't a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. It's about how you show up every day, how you handle challenges, how you treat others, and how you stand by your values. It's the small, everyday actions that build the foundation of respect over time. The more you stay true to yourself, the more others will begin to respect you. But this is earned, not expected. And here's the thing, you're never going to be able to control how everyone treats you, but when you respect yourself, you won't feel the need to chase or beg for the respect of others. You'll know that you've already earned it. You'll recognize that true respect is about choosing to honor yourself and your journey, regardless of the opinions of others. When you live like this, you attract the right people into your life. People who respect you because you respect yourself. Now, think about this for a moment. When was the last time you had to beg for someone's respect? When was the last time you compromised your values just to gain approval? The more you do that, the more you give away your personal power. But when you stand firm, when you know your worth and your value, you stop chasing respect and it comes naturally to you. This is how you can transform your relationships, your career, and even your own self-image. Imagine this. You've spent countless hours thinking about him, waiting for him to make the next move, to show his interest. But deep down, you know something isn't right. You've been chasing, hoping, wishing, but here's the truth you might not want to hear. You don't have to wait for him to make a move. You have the power to take control of your own life and let him come to you. We've all been there. At some point, we've all been caught in that cycle of waiting for him to text, to call, to reach out. But here's the crucial shift you need to make. Don't wait for him. Let him come to you. This doesn't mean playing games or manipulating his emotions, but rather embracing the power of self-respect and self-worth. When you wait for him, you put your happiness in his hands. You're letting him determine how much attention, love, and affection you deserve. But when you stop waiting for him, you take back control. You stop defining your value based on whether or not he reaches out. Your worth is not dependent on his actions. Instead of sitting back and waiting, start living your life with purpose. Focus on your goals, your passions, and your own growth. The moment you stop waiting for him to define your happiness, you unlock your true power. You become the one who dictates the pace of your own life. Waiting for him can be draining. It creates an unhealthy dependency where your self-worth is tied to his attention. And when he doesn't show up the way you expect, it leads to disappointment and frustration. But when you shift your focus and start living fully, you no longer need him to validate your existence. You're not waiting for his approval, you're creating your own happiness. This shift is about prioritizing yourself. You see, when you focus on yourself and your life, you become magnetic. The more you show up for yourself, the more you raise your own standards. You attract people who respect you, who value you, and who want to be part of your life. And when you stop waiting for him, you allow him to come to you, but on your terms. Think about it. When you stop chasing, when you stop waiting for him to make the first move, you give him space to realize what he's missing. He sees that you're not desperate for his attention. You have a life of your own, and he can either choose to be part of it or he can let it slip away. And that's when the true power of attraction happens. People are drawn to those who live authentically. They want to be around those who are confident, who have a sense of purpose. When you stop waiting for him, you're essentially telling the world, I'm worthy of love and respect without having to chase or beg for it. This creates a natural magnetism that he can't ignore. But here's the catch. You have to believe in your worth first. If you're constantly waiting for him to define you, to validate your value, you'll always feel uncertain. It's time to stop seeking external validation and start looking inward. You need to recognize that your happiness, your success, and your sense of self-worth are already within you. You don't need his approval to feel good about yourself. You don't need him to complete you. You are whole as you are. When you stop waiting for him to make the first move, you give him the opportunity to prove his interest on his own terms. But this doesn't mean you'll settle for less than you deserve. You've raised your standards. You've taken back control of your life, and you're no longer willing to settle for anything that doesn't align with your vision of happiness. If he truly wants to be with you, he'll make an effort. But that effort should come from a place of genuine interest, not desperation. The power of letting him come to you lies in the energy you project. When you stop waiting, you exude confidence. You show him and the world that you are not defined by his actions. You are not sitting idly by, hoping for his attention. Instead, you are living a full and meaningful life, and he either chooses to be a part of it or he doesn't. This is the beauty of taking a step back and not waiting for him. You empower yourself. You stop placing your happiness in someone else's hands. Instead of focusing on him, you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. When you put yourself first, you automatically raise the energy around you. You become someone who is not desperate, but someone who attracts admiration and respect. He may realize that he's been missing out on something special. When he sees that you're living your life independently, he may be drawn to you even more. But remember, this is not about waiting for him to validate your worth. It's about him realizing that he has to meet you at your level. You are the prize. You are the one who sets the tone for your relationships. When you stop waiting for him to make the first move, you stop giving him all the power. Instead, you claim your power and you let him come to you, not because you need him to, but because you know your worth and you won't settle for anything less than what you deserve. So stop waiting, start living, start valuing yourself, and when he comes to you, you'll be ready to embrace him. But only if he's worthy of your time, your love, and your energy. The moment you start valuing yourself, everything changes. It may seem like a simple concept, but many people struggle with it daily. They invest time, energy, and love into others, often forgetting the one person who truly matters, themselves. The shift that happens when you value yourself first isn't just a change in mindset. It's a transformation that ripples through every aspect of your life. It influences how you show up in relationships, how you approach your career, and how you interact with the world. The truth is, when you put yourself first, you stop settling for less, and your life begins to reflect that change. Think about the times in your life when you put others before yourself. How did it feel? In many cases, putting others' needs before yours leads to feelings of burnout, resentment, or frustration. Why? Because you're neglecting your own needs, desires, and well-being. But when you prioritize your own happiness, you start to see the world differently. You begin to realize that in order to give your best to others, you must first give your best to yourself. It's not selfish, it's essential. Valuing yourself is the foundation of self-respect. When you respect yourself, you stop tolerating disrespect from others. You stop allowing others to treat you in ways that don't align with your values. This shift is not about being rude or rejecting others. It's about recognizing your worth and no longer settling for anything less than what you deserve. Whether it's in relationships, work, or friendships, the moment you start valuing yourself, you set a new standard for how others treat you. You become less available for drama, negativity, and toxic people because you know your worth. You're no longer chasing approval or validation. You begin to walk through life with the quiet confidence that comes from self-love and self-respect. When you value yourself first, you set clear boundaries. Boundaries are crucial for maintaining healthy relationships with others. Without them, you allow people to take advantage of your time, energy, and emotional well-being. But when you understand the importance of valuing yourself, you naturally begin to establish boundaries that protect your peace. These boundaries may seem uncomfortable at first, but over time you'll realize that they're necessary for your growth and well-being. People will start to respect you more because they see that you respect yourself. They will learn that your time, energy, and emotions are not to be taken for granted. The shift that happens when you value yourself is like a domino effect. When you start to prioritize your own well-being, everything around you begins to improve. Your confidence increases, your relationships become healthier, and you start to attract better opportunities. This is because people are naturally drawn to those who know their worth. They respect individuals who don't settle, who take care of themselves, and who demand the same respect from others. Your life starts to reflect the energy you put into yourself. The more you value yourself, the more the universe aligns with your energy and gives you what you're truly worthy of. Self-value also affects your mindset. When you value yourself, you stop doubting your abilities and start trusting your instincts. You begin to believe that you are capable of achieving greatness, and you stop second-guessing every decision. This shift in confidence opens up a world of possibilities. You begin to take risks, pursue new ventures, and step out of your comfort zone. You no longer live in fear of failure because you understand that your worth isn't defined by external successes or failures. Your worth is intrinsic, and once you recognize that, you stop holding back. You step into your potential with courage and determination. Another profound shift that happens when you value yourself is in your relationships. When you start to prioritize your own needs, you stop tolerating toxic behavior or settling for relationships that drain you. Whether it's in romantic relationships, friendships, or even family dynamics, you begin to attract healthier, more supportive connections. You start surrounding yourself with people who uplift you, respect you, and add value to your life. The people who no longer align with your energy will naturally fall away, and in their place, you'll find relationships that empower you to be the best version of yourself. Valuing yourself first also means taking responsibility for your own happiness. It means understanding that you are the creator of your reality. No one else is responsible for your emotions or your well-being. When you take ownership of your happiness, you stop relying on external sources, whether it's people, jobs, or material possessions, to feel good about yourself. You realize that your happiness is an inside job, and that's where the real power lies. This sense of ownership gives you the freedom to design a life that aligns with your values, goals, and passions. The shift begins the moment you decide that you're worthy of the best. It's a shift in mindset, energy, and actions. The more you value yourself, the more you align with the energy of abundance, love, and respect. The world begins to mirror that energy back to you. You stop chasing after things that don't serve you, and you start attracting people, opportunities, and experiences that are in alignment with your highest good. Your life becomes a reflection of the love and respect you've given yourself. The shift happens when you recognize that you are deserving of happiness, success, and love. When you value yourself first, you stop sacrificing your needs for the sake of others. You stop waiting for someone else to validate your worth. You take ownership of your life and your future, and in doing so, you unlock the door to a life filled with purpose, confidence, and true fulfillment. The moment you realize your worth, the entire world changes. Your life shifts in ways you never thought possible, and that shift is exactly what you deserve. The only thing standing in your way is the belief that you don't deserve it. And the moment you decide you do is the moment everything begins to shift. When you hear the word detachment, what comes to mind? Often people think of it as a form of coldness or apathy, a sign of disinterest in the things or people they care about. But in reality, detachment is not about removing yourself emotionally from life. It's about taking control of your emotions, not letting them control you. It's a powerful tool for maintaining inner peace, creating personal boundaries, and living a life free from unnecessary stress and attachment. The truth is, when you learn the power of detachment, you gain a freedom that most people will never understand. Think about the moments in your life when you've felt overwhelmed or stressed. Maybe it was a relationship that consumed all your energy, a job that drained you, or a situation that you just couldn't seem to let go of. What happens when you become too attached to something or someone? You lose your sense of self. You put your happiness and well-being in someone else's hands. Detachment is the exact opposite of this. It's about recognizing that you are in control of your own happiness and peace, and nothing outside of you can dictate how you feel unless you allow it. The beauty of detachment lies in its ability to set you free. Imagine not being consumed by someone else's actions or opinions. Imagine not being constantly worried about what might happen next or what someone thinks about you. This freedom allows you to take a step back and view situations with clarity and perspective, rather than through the lens of fear or neediness. Detachment gives you the ability to create a boundary between your emotions and external circumstances, and that is where your true power lies. Detachment doesn't mean that you stop caring or that you stop being emotionally involved in your life. It simply means that you learn to manage your reactions. When you're not attached to the outcome, when you're not emotionally dependent on any specific result, you give yourself the space to act with purpose, rather than reacting out of fear or anxiety. Think about the last time you got upset over something that wasn't going your way. Did your reaction help the situation? Likely it made it worse. But when you detach from the need to control or fix everything, you allow yourself to think clearly and make decisions based on what's truly best for you. The ability to detach allows you to protect your energy. When you stop attaching your happiness to someone else's behavior, you start living on your own terms. You stop relying on external validation to feel good about yourself. You stop investing your emotional energy into things or people who drain you. Detachment isn't about distancing yourself from love or relationships. It's about loving and living with a sense of freedom and self-respect. When you no longer seek approval or constant validation, you stop seeking out unhealthy relationships, toxic environments, or situations that don't serve your highest good. What's most powerful about detachment is that it helps you release the fear of loss. People get attached to things because they're afraid of losing them. This fear often leads to desperation. Desperation leads to anxiety, and anxiety leads to poor decisions. But when you detach, you stop living in fear. You stop fearing the outcome of a situation because you understand that whatever happens, you'll be okay. This shift in perspective is incredibly liberating. You stop letting life's twists and turns dictate your emotional state. You stop letting every setback control how you feel, and instead, you begin to realize that the only thing you can control is your own response. When you detach, you become more attractive to others. Think about it. The people who command respect and admiration are often those who have mastered the art of detachment. They don't chase or beg for attention. They don't act out of desperation. Instead, they live their lives with a sense of inner peace and strength that draws others toward them. When you detach from the need to control or force a situation, you begin to move with purpose and grace. People notice that calm, that confidence, and they're naturally drawn to it. But detachment isn't just about protecting your energy. It's about gaining the ability to let go of things that no longer serve you. We often hold on to past relationships, past mistakes, and old wounds because we believe they define us. But true strength comes from letting go of the past and embracing the present moment. Detachment allows you to release the burden of the past and free up mental and emotional space for new possibilities, new experiences, and new growth. When you let go, you create room for something greater to enter your life. But it isn't about becoming emotionally distant or shutting yourself off from the world. It's about developing the ability to hold your emotions in a healthy way. It's about recognizing that while you may feel deeply, you are not your emotions. You're not defined by them. When you detach, you empower yourself to respond rather than react, to make decisions based on wisdom rather than fear, and to embrace life with a sense of grace and inner peace. Detachment gives you the ability to move through life with ease. When you're not attached to specific outcomes or the behaviors of others, you can flow with life instead of against it. You stop trying to control everything, and you start trusting in the process. You begin to realize that everything, even the challenges and setbacks, is an opportunity for growth. When you learn the power of detachment, you unlock a new level of freedom. You begin to live life on your own terms, with a sense of peace, balance, and strength that can never be shaken. And that, my friend, is the power of detachment. Magnetism is often thought of as something mystical, something that one is either born with or doesn't have at all. We see people with magnetic personalities and wonder how they can effortlessly attract others, whether it's in relationships, career, or social circles. But what if I told you that the true source of magnetism lies in something within your control? It's not about being the loudest or the most outgoing. It's not about constantly seeking attention or validation. The real secret to magnetic energy is independence. When you are truly independent, when you stand firm in your own strength and self-worth, that is when you become a magnet for the right people, opportunities, and experiences. Think about it. When you're independent, you radiate a sense of confidence that is undeniable. You don't need anyone to define your worth. You don't rely on others for approval or validation. This inner strength becomes incredibly magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who seem self-assured, who have a sense of direction, and who are comfortable standing alone when necessary. But how do you become that person? It all starts with understanding that independence is not about being alone or rejecting help. It's about being emotionally, mentally, and financially self-sufficient. It's about having the confidence to make decisions for yourself without seeking constant guidance or approval from others. When you start living for yourself, when you stop looking to others for validation or direction, you immediately become more magnetic. People feel that energy. They sense that you are a person of substance, someone who is not swayed by the opinions of others. That kind of confidence is incredibly attractive. Independence also breeds a sense of freedom that is rare in today's world. In relationships, for instance, when a person is dependent on another for their happiness or self-worth, they are often consumed by insecurity and neediness. This is not only draining for themselves, but for those around them as well. But when a person is independent, when she is secure in who she is and doesn't rely on someone else to feel whole, she becomes irresistible. Her confidence, self-respect, and sense of freedom draw others in. The key here is that she's not looking for someone to complete her. She's looking for someone who complements her. Magnetism isn't about trying to be perfect or having everything together. It's about owning who you are, flaws and all. When you embrace your uniqueness and stand strong in it, you become magnetic. The most attractive people are often those who are unapologetically themselves, who don't try to conform to society's expectations. Independence gives her the strength to be who she is without fear of judgment. When she steps into this power, she becomes a beacon for others to gravitate toward. The magnetic energy that comes from independence is not just about self-sufficiency. It's about creating an energy that others want to be around. People want to be around those who are self-assured because that confidence is contagious. When he doesn't need others to validate his worth, he naturally attracts respect and admiration. Others look up to him not because he demands attention, but because he doesn't need it. This magnetic pull is subtle but powerful. It comes from living authentically and standing firm in one's own worth, without relying on external factors to determine it. Independence also gives the freedom to pursue one's own passions and dreams, which is another factor that makes someone magnetic. When a person is independent, they don't wait around for others to give them permission to go after what they want. She takes action, she builds her life, and others watch in awe. Her ability to go after what she wants without seeking approval draws people in. They see someone who is driven, passionate, and clear on their goals, and that kind of energy is impossible to ignore. It creates a sense of excitement and possibility in the air, and others can't help but be attracted to it. When you learn to stand in your own power, when you stop seeking approval from others, you begin to live with a sense of purpose and direction. People are drawn to those who know where they're going and who are confident enough to walk that path alone if necessary. Independence provides the clarity and inner peace that makes you magnetic. When you don't rely on others to dictate your path or your worth, you open yourself up to new possibilities and experiences. You become a force of attraction in every aspect of your life, from your personal relationships to your professional endeavors. Think about the people who have left a lasting impression on you. Were they the ones who constantly sought your validation, or were they the ones who were secure in themselves, who didn't need your approval to feel good about who they were? It's the latter. When you stop chasing validation and start living for yourself, you stop worrying about what others think, and that's when the real magic happens. You become magnetic not because you try to be, but because you're comfortable in your own skin. In relationships, independence doesn't mean that you push others away or refuse to connect emotionally. It means that you have a healthy sense of self-worth and can love and care for others without losing yourself in the process. It's about having the strength to walk away from relationships or situations that no longer serve you without fear or regret. When he can do this, when he can stand firm in his own independence and self-respect, he becomes incredibly magnetic. Others see his strength and are drawn to it, not because he seeks attention, but because his independence radiates power and confidence. Magnetism lies in independence because it creates a sense of freedom, self-respect, and inner strength. It allows you to live authentically, pursue your passions, and stand firm in your own worth. When you stop seeking approval from others and start living for yourself, you naturally become more attractive to the right people and opportunities. Magnetism doesn't come from chasing after others. It comes from owning your worth and stepping into your power. When you become independent, you unlock a magnetic energy that others can't resist.